Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
Morning, everyone. You have joined the WITEE Chatterbot show this morning, and we're coming live from the Bohemian city of Melville. So welcome, everybody.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
So I'm sitting here with Jessica McEndoo, who is a social media friendly, and myself, and we are looking at this day that is so cloudy. But I know that Cape Town has had quite a lot of scorching weather on that side. And
yeah, the rain can go there.
Yeah, no, truly. And we cannot ignore the fact that day 0 is around the corner. And guys, we all have to please make sure that we are very conservative with water as this day comes near. But with that being said, we have a very exciting gift with sorry, it's very
it is a gift to have on the show
gift
today.
from above. Anyway, we have a very, very stunning person joining us on the show today, Josephine. So Josephine Buys is the CEO of IAB South Africa. Now, let me tell you a little bit about her. Josephine is a media and marketing pioneer, and her diverse career has placed her at the forefront of embracing digital in a variety of industries and platforms, from publishing and entertainment and agencies and the public sector. Now, this has set herself apart with a strategic intuition and infectious energy, helping organizations to effect real and lasting change in the booming digital space. How do you like that?
Yes, amazing. Welcome, Josephine.
Welcome, Josephine. How are you this morning?
Thank you, ladies. I'm good. Thanks for the welcome. And I'm sitting with a glass of water and looking at clouds also in Cape Town.
Oh,
so
is
I'm
it?
hoping for some rain today.
Oh, that's great. I hope you get some rain on that side.
Thank you.
We are very excited to unpack some of the work of the IAB and the upcoming summit that's around the corner. I think it's the 1st of March, right?
It is, yes. 1st of March in Kailami in Johannesburg at the Theatre on the Track.
Oh, wonderful. Now, we're going to kickstart this interview just by asking you, first of all, tell us more about the IAB and why it exists.
Well, we're the trade body for digital media and marketers. So our role is to empower our members to thrive in the digital economy. The organisation is largely made up of industry volunteers who give of their time and their talent to accelerate digital, whether it be adoption, spend or policy. And of course, IAB worldwide sets benchmarks and guidelines for gold standards and best practice. We also host the annual Bookmark Awards, South Africa's digital Oscars, and we host and endorse several more industry events throughout the year.
Awesome.
Fantastic. So many things on the go at the moment. Josephine, maybe just for the audience, can you sort of explain what benefits the IAB offers to its members and why you should actually join?
Sure. Well, there are myriad benefits, most of which are detailed on our website, which I'd love to share with you later, so people can definitely go and take a look at that. But I'd say our most important issues, I suppose, for our members right now is access to professional advice on education, transformation, and regulatory affairs. We offer reduced rates for professional development programs and online courses. Our members can participate and receive local and international research studies, as well, of course, access to networking events with other industry professionals. I think that's quite an important one for our members to talk to each other on a regular basis about the challenges and opportunities that we all face.
Definitely. It's all about that networking and having the best practice and being able to share knowledge.
100%. And if I might just add, with the IAB's research with Effective Measure, I have found it quite extraordinary and very, very helpful in executing some of my marketing initiatives. So yeah, very awesome. Is the IAB for advertisers and publishers only, or can any business join the IAB?
Well, interestingly, historically, it was a publisher organization. It began many years ago at the dawn of the internet as the Online Publishers Association. And then later on, agencies joined us, in particular when we were formerly the Digital Media and Marketing Association. We started the Bookmarks actually 10 years ago. So agencies became a big part of the ecosystem. But more recently, and certainly since we became an IAB, which was in 2014, we've encouraged more marketing and brand members in line with international IABs. We think it's important that the people who are actually deciding on the spend be an important part of the digital dialogue. So we welcome marketers and brand members. And of course, more recently as well, we're welcoming more ad tech companies as well, because they're playing quite heavily in the space. So we think it's important to keep our finger on the pulse as well with them as members. So, it's a growing organization. We also, we partner with other trade associations. We liaise with governments. So it's really for anybody that has an interest in the digital media and marketing ecosystem.
Yeah, and I think just to add to your point, I also think as the ecosystem of digital is changing rapidly, we're also seeing integration is very important. So it's more important that all of us come together and work as one force together as publishers, technology enablers, all of that. So it's great that you facilitate that environment.
No, it is. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, those are they're the most important people in our industry, and to have them communicating with one another through various channels that we set up as the IAB is really, it's been quite critical in kind of driving digital forward.
Yeah,
fantastic. Awesome. I liked when you say driving digital forward. Josephine, with the industry rapidly changing, what are some of the challenges that you face from a digital point of view?
Well, digital, it changes with lightning speed, as you very well know. So we have to keep our finger on the pulse. But I guess, so that could change from today till tomorrow. That answer could really change. But for the moment, we certainly think that fake news and brand safety is one of the biggest challenges that we have, not only as an industry, but on behalf of South African consumers. Lack of access to the internet for many South Africans. That's a major issue, and it directly affects our members. If South Africans aren't online, they can't necessarily engage with our media and our marketing. Obviously, local publishers are struggling to monetize their businesses. That's been an ongoing problem, that we face as a challenge for our publisher council. And viewability of online advertising, I think that's an important one as well, to ensure that where marketers are putting their spend, to make sure that those ads are being seen by humans.
Yes.
Oh yeah, for sure, because no, that is a big problem at the moment in terms of the efficacy online. But also, just further to your point, I do believe that it is absolutely important, this whole fake news thing, and it's driving such a big barrier between people. And, I was watching a show the other day where there was a mother and daughter, and how they were completely divided because the one was believing the fake news and driving a whole behavior around it. And it was actually impacting their relationship. So I also think not just from how it gets absorbed by consumers and so forth, but also the morale out there. I think it's very important that it gets addressed. What type of things are you doing to address fake news?
Well, the Publisher Council, as I said, we're largely driven by volunteers. So we've got several councils, and one of them is the Publisher Council. And we have all the major publishers and a representative for the smaller publishers that sit on that council. We meet about once every 4 to 5 weeks. And we discuss those challenges and opportunities. And one of the ideas, one of the initiatives that I think we are about to implement is establishing a credible bank of trusted news sources through the IAB. So to become a member of an IAB, you have to abide by a code of conduct, and that would include and does include, being a credible news source. So it means a little bit of policing on our part, because unfortunately it does mean that once we discover that somebody is not a credible news source, then we have to bite the bullet and say, well, you can't be a member of this organization until you subscribe to that code of conduct. But we're also looking into the possibility of implementing a privy seal onto our publishers' sites, so that a South African consumer can actually know immediately if what they're reading online is something that has been trusted and as a credible news source from the IAB. So that's an initiative that's been driven by our Publisher Council. I'm hoping to have more information on that at the summit. With regards to some of the other challenges, we're in talks with the South African Human Rights Council. We have a dream to use the words of a wonderful man to have a basic act declared a basic human right. If we can do that, I mean, it may sound like a tall order, but it's not impossible. And if we can work with organizations like the Human Rights Council, it's something it's a possibility. We can make it happen, and it's certainly something we're trying to make happen this year. And with regards to viewability, for example, IAB Global is constantly advancing the viewability guidelines, input from our members around the feed into that. We don't just make decisions unilaterally for our members. We work with our members through these advisory boards and councils to make sure that, we're all working from the same hymn sheet and working on the same most important challenges, because obviously there's a lot to work on. So what we have to choose is where we think we can push the needle, in a meaningful way.
Love it. I think it's incredible what you guys are doing. And also, I'm really interested to know, I totally agree. Having access to the internet is a basic human right, and it empowers people to take them to the next level. In terms of data must fall, what are the things that you are trying to do on that side, and how can we get involved with that?
Well, data must fall is a bit of a prickly topic, because obviously, there's a lot of role players, and some of them being our members. But I think there is largely an agreement by everybody in the digital ecosystem that we have to give more access to more people. So there are things like, there's a company that we're working with that's working with some of the networks on offering zero-rated content. So there are many ways that we can bring content to people who don't necessarily have the funding for data. And it's been done by several brands world over. I'm not going to kind of handpick a few, but, there have been cases that we've actually seen award-winning campaigns through various award shows, including the Bookmarks, where, a company will reward you for a purchase or for sharing a video with data. And also some of the networks are now thankfully coming to the party as well, working with some organizations where they're talking about, zero-rated content to people that can't necessarily afford the data. So I think we're going to see a lot through trying to make the internet more accessible, because obviously at the end of the day, pretty much everyone in South Africa has got a mobile device. So if we can give them some sort of zero-rated or less expensive data, because perhaps it's being sponsored or topped up by or contributed by others in the industry, such as brands and marketers. I think everybody wins in that situation, because we get the eyeballs for our marketing and advertising, and the consumer gets access to to data that they didn't necessarily have before. So I'm quite excited about that this year.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think data's the new currency.
For sure.
That's the way to go.
We were actually talking last week. We were talking about one of the future of work jobs that we can look out for is data brokers, and how valuable data will also become.
Yes.
So also with data and people having access to data will give us also another part of the data economy, which will really enrich marketers' lives going forward. So we just want to quickly go for an ad break, and then we will continue the conversation and chat more about the summit and what's coming up and so forth.
Thank you.
brandlive.co.za.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Grow! Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstarmedia.co.za.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
The WITEE Chatterbots. Join myself, Carmen and my double trouble, Jessica McEndoo, with our big personalities, and we will present you with an insightful yet fun show.
We will feature interviews with industry heavyweights and unpack everything from new technologies, marketing trends, and case studies to empower you to be ahead of the curve.
Brand Live.
Join us on this exciting journey every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock and start a conversation on hashtag WITEE Show.
Hashtag WITEE Show.
Thank you.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za.
Welcome back to the hashtag WITEE Show. I'm Jessica McEndoo with my double trouble, Carmen Murray. I get to call you double trouble this time. And we've got Josephine from the IAB, and we've really been chatting about sort of what the IAB is set out to achieve moving forward. And we've got her on. We're going to chat about the summit a little bit. Maybe Josephine, just a little bit for our listeners. We've chatted before the break about, things that the great initiatives that you're taking forward. Can you tell us a little bit about the work the IAB has done over the years prior and what you've actually accomplished?
Sure. Well, it's given that we're kind of just going into our fourth year, so we're quite a young organisation, and we obviously had several councils in place when we became an IAB, but we did establish the Education and Transformation Council. That was specifically to address the shortage of talent in our industry. It's something that we all agree on. There's definitely a gap. There's a skills gap. So we established an Education and Transformation Council to address that. It's a very strongly supported council, and we're making progress, not necessarily very fast, but we are making steady progress towards that end. Last year, we also started the process of becoming a patron of a professional body for digital. So we pretty much want to professionally designate individuals in the digital sector. So things like recognition of prior learning, continuous professional development, individuals that are actually working in the space and already within organizations that perhaps don't necessarily have a qualification, because that's so often what employers are looking for. But if you've done work in the digital economy, then, we want to be able to recognize that and endorse them as somebody that can be considered for that skills gap. One of the things that we do annually, we produce an annual digital ad spend report that measures the trajectory of online spend compared to other media. Obviously quite important for us and our members as we try and encourage people to move more spend into digital. Everybody's aware that it's growing, but I think on marketers' side, sometimes there's still a bit of a nervousness. Are we doing the right thing, moving this much spend? Yeah. So what that report does is just reassures people that, we're moving in line with global and international trends, and our own trends to make sure that, spend is moving across to digital, as a worthwhile place for marketers to consider. And obviously on an ongoing basis, public policy research, thought leadership, standards, guidelines, best practices, all ongoing initiatives, not only for us, but IAB globally. So we're very lucky that we have the mothership, so to speak, that we can, we can also take some of those global best practices and adopt them in our market.
No, fantastic. It's nice to have something like that where we can know that we're on track. 100%. We're not doing a spray and pray.
Yeah. Gary Vaynerchuk was saying the other day, it's important to go deeper, not wider. And I think it's important for us as marketers also, and having like the IAB around is very good to inform us, how to dig deep and to learn from the organization or the association the best practice to enforce. Very importantly, Josephine, what I would like to know is how can companies get involved with the IAB? Where do they go? What is the process?
Well, obviously becoming members is first prize for us. Member acquisition is really important that, we have that support, not only financially. It's not a very expensive membership, but, that funding does allow for 2 full-time people, to manage the rest of the voluntary kind of army, as I like to call it.
Love it.
Yeah. Obviously, joining those councils, very, very important. Anybody that has a passion for digital and seeing it grow, they are very welcome to join, as a volunteer on any of our councils. And I think, probably for me, most importantly, is to support and sponsor our industry events. We can't do it without the support of the industry. So really, that would be my appeal, really, is to ask our industry to get involved with those events and to help us host them.
So now to address the elephant in the room. One of the most premier digital industry events will happen soon, which is on the 1st of March. So first of all, do you still need sponsors that can get involved specifically for this event? How do they contact you?
We'd love to. They're welcome to contact me directly or any of our team. They can find, all of our team's details on the website. We are still looking for sponsors. Obviously, what we try and do is put our best foot forward, and make sure that this is a must-attend event. And it has been for the last 3 years. It really has established itself as a premier digital industry event, not only in South Africa, but on the continent. In fact, we've got a couple of international people flying this year. People were asking us about tickets at the end of last year. They wanted to book their flights. We're really pleased. Yeah, it is. It's so exciting. Holland and the UK, it's really exciting that people want to come that far. Look, I think they have an interest in Africa, obviously, so. But I think, we're really proud that we can stand tall with everybody else. I mean, we had one of our international directors that came out for last year's event or the year before, and he said, this really is of a very global standard, this event. So we can only do that with the support of our sponsors. So naturally, anybody that's willing to get involved would be very welcome to contact me. supporting us as an industry and coming to join us on the day, you won't be disappointed. We had such good feedback from everybody that joined us last year. People so excited afterwards,
So
coming up and
amazing.
thanking me. I mean, not that I deserve the thanks. There's a whole but I gladly take it on behalf of everyone that works so hard behind the scenes to make this happen. But if the industry can support us by joining us on the day and, being part of the conversation and even giving us feedback on what they'd like to see more of. I think we've got a survey on our social media channels this week where we're going to ask people, what's their hot button at the moment? What do they want to hear about? I think from a support point of view, we just love to see the industry turn up and enjoy the day with us.
Oh, no, awesome. So the IAB Digital Summit, tell us a little bit about the summit, when it is, I think we said, where it is and when you're going to be hosting it so that everyone can get involved.
Sure. Well, we host it on the 1st of March, and it's actually followed by the 10th Annual Bookmark Awards. So it's quite nice that it's fallen into what is worldwide now known as awards season, sort of, February, March of each year. So we're quite happy that it's on the 1st of March. We will have a jam-packed lineup as we always do. In fact, last year I had to give a brief to my speakers my brief was to leave them wanting more because we did very short kind of TED Talk style 15 minutes talks and it really did leave people wanting more, which was fantastic for the speakers because there were a lot of people that wanted to engage with them afterwards. So we may not use quite that format this year. There are a couple of good keynotes that we think, and they're coming from afar, so we think they deserve some time to share their expertise. But we also have a little palate cleanser. We're having Pecha Kuchus in between, which is, you may be aware, is 20 slides in 20 seconds. Yes. So those are kind of just little shots of awe throughout the day. But I think really the industry, we've followed what the industry wants to talk about. We're going to talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning. Obviously, the rise of data intelligence is a huge part of that. Fake news and brand safety, as we've spoken about, the need for transparency and trust online, as it's crucial. Digital privacy and security, it's more important than ever before. Not only for advertisers but for consumers. So it's a concern that we share. The impact of POPI, challenges and opportunities, that's coming into place this year. We've got someone from our Regulatory Affairs Council who'll unpack that for us. What's next in programmatic and audience measurement, very key topics. And of course, the latest emerging trends and technologies in mobile. We've got a super speaker to come and talk to us about that. So, those are just a few of the things. I'm not even sure what we're going to have time for. We're going to pack that all out. We're going to pack out the schedule for the day. And we're really going to cover as much as we can.
It sounds full.
Oh my gosh, this is like really like the Oscars of digital. This is exciting. Are we wearing white roses, black dresses?
I'm wearing a black dress. Take from that what you will, but I did feel that, in solidarity, I wanted to wear a white dress. Obviously at the summit, it's just kind of business as usual. But the digital Oscars, it's year 10. It's our 10th anniversary, so you can expect some special things. And I'd love to ask the industry to get dressed up for that one. Why not celebrate what we've managed
Decade
to do?
Of magic.
I think so. Yeah, no, definitely. Oh my goodness, this is going to be so exciting. Okay, so we know what we can expect this year. So where can people book for their tickets?
Well, I think the easiest place is to go onto iabsa.net, our website, because you can follow all the links. You can go to the Summit website from there, the Bookmarks website from there, and you can actually then find the link to new tickets. That's our ticketing platform for this year. And one of the things I'd love to say, if I may, is we've actually frozen the ticket prices from 2017. We understand everybody's economic challenges, so we just decided let's just keep those ticket prices exactly the same. Members pay a little less. There is an advantage to being a member because there is a discount for the members. So you can find that link to the tickets and more information on our website. And those tickets will be on sale until the end of February or until we sell out, whichever comes first.
I'm sure it'll be sold out before the end of Feb.
Oh, yes. So if I can just make a recommendation to our audience, first sign up as a member at the IAB, then you buy your ticket because then you get a little bit of a discount. Am I right?
You are indeed. So
always, hustle the system. Okay. So we have a tradition in the show where we do a 60-second challenge, and we're going to ask you 10 questions with a ticker, and it's so that the audience can get to know you a little bit better, not from a business perspective, but from a Josephine perspective. And your time starts now.
If the internet disappeared, what would you do?
goodness. I'd pour a glass of wine and play with my puppy.
What app do you use most often on your phone?
I think it's going to have to be WhatsApp.
In school, what were you in trouble for the most?
Marching against apartheid, I think.
Oh, wow!
Yes,
Congratulations.
in the UK.
When you were little, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, gosh, that's a great question. It changed all the time. I had a dream at one point about joining the army. I've got no idea why, but
It's a past life.
I never thought I'd be doing what I'm doing today, and I do love it. So
You've got a digital army. If you had $3 to spend at the dollar store, what 3 things would you buy?
Sweets.
If you had to take a pie to the face, what flavor would it be?
Lemon meringue.
Which way should toilet paper face on the holder?
Definitely to the outside.
Congratulations!
Well
7 out of 10. Well done. Look, when Jess did me the one day, I think I had 4 out of 10. She really put me on the spot every second. I tell people every week. So you did amazing, Joe.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And I'm glad you like wine because I do as well.
We know 1 o'clock is at
There'll
5.
be no shortage of that. If we can't drink water, we'll drink wine.
Exactly.
No problem with that. Anyway, our audience, thank you very much for joining in. We're going to share the podcast a little bit later today or tomorrow, and then spread it as wide as you can so we can get people involved. This is going to be one of the most extraordinary events of the year. I'm Carmen Murray.
And I'm Jessica McEndoo signing out, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za.